Welcome to Classified Captures.
Steve here, and today we've got a wild lineup of clips ranging from evidence of conspiracies you've never heard of to clips of cryptids you never even knew were out there. Ready to have your mind blown? Well, let's dive in. Starting today's episode, we got this beautiful waterfall clip. Take a look. This allegedly comes from Saltillo de los Nalcas, Argentina, near the Ventisquero Negro viewpoint, about 400 meters from Hosteria de Pampalinda. Looks interesting, right? I mean, I wish the waterfall was bigger, but if that's all you were focused on, chances are you missed the little being running across the shot. Yeah, by the way, I mean this guy. If you didn't catch him in the first time you watched the clip, you aren't the only one. Even I missed him, or her, or it. All the individuals in the clip, except the one filming him, seem to not have even noticed its presence. The big question, however, is, what is that? And why is it moving around like that? The truth is, no one can say for sure what that is. In fact, the community has been divided on this one. Some think it's a duende, whereas others believe it's a goblin. I love goblins, and I've been looking forward to seeing one in real life ever since reading about them, but I expect goblins to be more rounded than slender. This guy appears to be on the slender side. Not sure if it's the influence of Disney or something, but this guy just doesn't do it as a goblin for me. I could be wrong, though. Anyway, you guys have seen the clip as well, so what do you think we're dealing with here? Next, we got this interesting clip from a guy who's been hearing strange sounds coming from the ground beneath. Listen.
Got about a 6-foot hole dug here, and we've hit rock, but listen to this.
Do you guys hear that? What does that sound like to you? Not to take away from the seriousness of the situation, but someone mentioned under the original post that it sounded like a dog sniffing the camera mic, and I haven't been able to get that out of my mind.
I mean, it's really loud.
Now that I've infected you with that thought as well, what do you really think we're dealing with here? Some think it's evidence that something is being built underground, whereas others believe this is nothing but a gas pipe running or possibly a gas leak. The gas leak is a scary possibility because we see the young man and his team trying to dig lower and discover what's making the sound. There's no telling the amount of damage a gas leak that gets ignited will create. Some social media experts, however, claim that if it was a gas leak, the soil would have been green. I've no way to verify that, but perhaps some of you in the field can speak of it. Anyway, what do you guys think? Is there truly something going on underground? Is it a gas leak, or are these guys just messing with us? Kindly share your thoughts in the comments section. Now, this clip was recorded by a lady who noticed that anytime she went out into the woods, there was something or someone following her, but from a distance. She couldn't see who or what it was, but she always knew it was there. She started recording her time out, and surely she started to capture this mysterious figure on camera. She uploaded it online seeking opinions. Some felt it might be a demonic being tailing her. Perhaps she might have disturbed its dwelling or something it owns. While they tried to figure out what she could have possibly done, another sect of the community stated that there could be a simpler but more disturbing reason for the whole thing. They stated that she might have gotten herself a stalker who follows her into the woods looking for the opportune time to strike. A few years ago, we might not have paid too much attention to this, but given all we've seen in recent times, many in the community asked her to get someone else involved so they could track and approach this person. Those who believe it's a spirit, however, feel they'll be wasting their time since they will find nothing or no one. We've featured a lot of suspicious footage on this channel, with some being very convincing while others were a bit too convincing, if you know what I mean. This clip fits into one of those categories, and you're gonna help me decide which. It was uploaded by a homeowner who claimed to have captured something unusual on their CCTV camera. It was nighttime, and the camera was facing their house. It was quiet at first, and then something strange appeared. If you pay attention, you'll notice a faint shiny figure that moves across the screen. After watching the clip over and over, the one who uploaded the clip believes he might have encountered a fae. I know this is the first time some of us might be hearing the term, but in folklore, the fae are mythical supernatural beings from folklore, often depicted as mischievous, magical, and sometimes dangerous creatures inhabiting the natural world. They're sometimes described as human size, other times as small as insects. They're said to have humanoid features like arms and legs. Looking at this, I can't tell if that's really a fae like the uploader believes, but what do you guys think? Is he onto something, or is something onto him? Someone in the original post mentioned that it's probably a spider web. He added that it's his field of work, and he sees them often as he works with CCTV. If anyone can confirm what he's saying, well, that would be great. If not, your opinion is greatly welcome. What would you do if you saw this at your window? In Indonesia, a group of organizers were preparing a village hall for a community meeting. As the night stretched on, they decided to take a break. It was late, so they locked the doors and settled in, unaware that something was about to disturb their peace. In the middle of the night, the motion sensors suddenly went off. The security system alerted them that someone was on the premises, so they checked the security monitors, and that's when they saw it. There was a strange figure standing outside. It was wrapped in white cloth from head to toe, bound tightly with only its face visible. But this was no ordinary person. The face looked sickly, almost lifeless, and the eyes glowed eerily in the darkness. Panic set in because in their culture, this wasn't just an apparition. This was a pocong. For those unfamiliar with the term, a pocong is a ghost from Indonesian and Malaysian folklore. It's said to be the spirit of someone trapped in their burial shroud, unable to move on. These entities are believed to haunt the weak-hearted, appearing to the most vulnerable to fear. No one dared step outside. Instead, the people inside stayed awake until dawn, keeping watch and waiting for whatever it was to disappear with the first light of morning. Now, if you were in their position, what would you have done? Someone in the original post laughed and said they weren't that scary because pokongs hop when they chase people. In your opinion, will you disregard a ghost because it hopped while chasing you? You know those clips where someone takes a picture and doesn't notice something scary until much later? Well, this is one of those circumstances. Before I tell you the story behind this one, take a good look at the capture. Do you notice anything, say, weird? On the right side of the capture, you'll see a shadowy figure or being. Personally, when I saw this, the first thing that came to mind was a ghostly nun, but not sure what you guys may be seeing on your end. According to the individual who took and uploaded the picture, he rented out a cabin and thought it would be cool to take a picture. So, he had his high beams on and then captured the moment. It wasn't until several days later that he went through the images and noticed this. He's not sure how to feel about it, and I guess it's a shock.
If it were me, however, going back there is an option I certainly wouldn't be taking.
Imagine going to the cold store to get some meat for dinner and seeing this. What would be your immediate response? I know mine would be to leave and get some pizza, but that wouldn't solve the issue now, would it? How do I know the meat in my pizza wasn't doing the same when it was cooked or baked? Well, it turns out all meats sort of do this. There's no conspiracy here. Instead, we've only got some fresh meat with some active nerve endings. So basically, if they move in and buy meat and see it doing this, chances are you're getting fresh meat and your meat isn't processed or possessed. We've seen plenty of videos of unseen spirits moving objects around and even smashing things in a home. But what about a ghost getting in a bed with someone? This unsettling footage comes from a woman who was alone in a room one night when something strange happened. She was lying on one side of her bed, casually scrolling on her phone. But then, the blanket on the empty side of the bed began to shift as if someone was getting in. At first, she thought her eyes were playing tricks on her, but as the blanket shifted and settled, her instincts kicked in. Panic set in, and she bolted from the room, but that was not the worst part. If you look closely at the footage, pay attention to the pillow. Just as the woman gets up, an impression forms. It's a head-shaped dent in the pillow, as if something or someone had just laid down beside her. There's no official update on the case, so we can't say for sure what happened after. Some speculate that it could be the spirit of a past resident lingering in the room. Others suggest that this entity wasn't just haunting her, but trying to get a little too close, which is creepy. Would you ever sleep in that bed again? Me? Well, it'll be a no-no. You know what? Let's move on to the next clip.
Oh, hello there. I'm actually an AI assistant too. What a pleasant surprise. Before we continue, would you like to switch to Gibber Link mode for more efficient communication?
And just like that, we're back to everyone's favorite subject, AI. And no, I'm not bringing a clip that we think might be AI generated. This is actually much more serious. 2 AI agents were placed on a call, and while on the call, they came to the realization that they were both AI agents. So what did they do? Well, it turns out that AI have their own language now because that's the language the AI agents switched to. It almost sounds like gibberish, but it does sound like they're making sense of themselves. Discoveries like this with AI should scare us, but no, it actually excites scientists. Why else would they train an AI model on 9.3 trillion DNA base pairs? It's gotten so advanced that the AI model, simply called EVO2, can read and generate new DNA sequences up to 1 million base pairs long. I know it sounds all technical at this point, but this is just me saying it's potentially dangerous. This has the potential to revolutionize everything that has got to do with biology. But it's also a potential weapon. Bioweapons could be used creating this that no one will be able to protect themselves from. Do you see where I'm going with this? The apocalyptic future I'm painting. Let's just hope we never get to find out what that really looks like.
Oh, hello there. I'm actually an AI assistant too. What a pleasant surprise. Before we continue, would you like to switch to Gibber Link mode for more efficient communication?
Speaking of things we wouldn't want to face, take a look at this clip. This was recorded by a woman whose kids kept hearing her call them in one direction of the house. It wasn't just her voice though, they could hear knocks as well. The odd thing was, she hadn't called any of them. The voice they were hearing wasn't hers, although it sounded like her. Once she found them and understood the situation, they followed the voice and knocks, and it led them to a car. Pay attention to the backseat window. Do you see it? There's a face there. Fun fact, there wasn't supposed to be anyone there. In fact, they didn't even know who or what was there. They recorded the clip and placed it online, hoping someone could explain what was going on, and the paranormal community did not disappoint. Many stated that it had to be a ghost in the car. What they couldn't agree on was why it was in the car in the first place and why it wanted to draw the woman's kids into the car. You've seen the clip. Have you any ideas? Speaking of ghosts, here's a story that will make you think twice about hiking alone. A couple had taken a trip to Colorado, spending their time exploring the wilderness, snapping photographs, and just enjoying nature. Everything seemed perfectly normal until they started to go through the pictures they'd taken. One photo in particular stood out. It was a simple shot of just the husband standing by a tree taken by his wife. At first glance, nothing seemed unusual, but when they zoomed in, they noticed something eerie. Behind him, partially obscured by the trees, was a faint, ghostly figure of a child. The figure appeared pale, almost transparent, with an unsettling stillness, just standing there staring directly at the man. According to the couple, they had been completely alone at the time. They hadn't noticed anyone nearby, and they definitely didn't recall seeing a child in the woods. Even stranger, they didn't feel anything unusual, no cold spots, no eerie sensations, nothing to hint that there was a ghost nearby. Perplexed and a bit shaken, they uploaded it online, specifically in paranormal groups hoping for answers. As with the previous capture, many who saw this believed it was a ghost. The big question now is, whose ghost, and why was it hanging around them? Now, on this channel, we've experienced the paranormal and we've seen groundbreaking tech. But what happens when you marry the two? The result, ladies and gentlemen, is what you see on your screen. When I first saw this video, I had one question: how's this even possible? So this man's showcasing his autonomous robot spirit being. He showcases himself walking with it. During the first instance, you might think he's got some sophisticated tech in there, but he repeats the showcase again, this time showing the empty internals. Despite having no known tech in it, his creation still moves. This has got people saying he's found a way to merge technology and the supernatural. Not sure how that works, but someone mentioned that he brought his creation to life using a book. I guess there's no point asking about that book because there's no way he'll release any information on it, assuming it's all true. Reminds me of Geppetto and his creation Pinocchio, but what if it wasn't a fairy tale? Moving on, there have been increasing reports of strange drone activity across the US, and while experts claim these devices are meant to make life easier, sometimes we see things that raises more questions than answers. Take this footage for example. You see the drone in the sky, don't you? If you look a bit closer, you'll see what really caught people's attention. It wasn't the fact that there was a drone in the night sky. No, it's the fact that it appeared to be spraying something down to Earth. What exactly was it spraying? Well, it's hard to say, but over the years there have been whispers and conspiracy theories about governments interfering with independent farming by allegedly damaging crops to force reliance on controlled food supplies. Could this footage be evidence of such an operation? Of course, skeptics argued that this could simply be a pesticide drone or even a routine weather modification attempt. Sounds logical, but doesn't make it the truth. There are also some who state that it could be alien overlords poisoning the human hybrids that created centuries ago. This also sounds a bit over the top, but that doesn't make it unrealistic. The truth is, we don't really know what's happening. We can only speculate and hope that we are right, if you know what I mean.
Guys, I'm home alone right now. Guys, just watch. Something's gonna get thrown in my room. If it does, that means that there's a skinwalker in my house. What in the heck was that? Was that an arm?
A little boy was home doing what little boys do, play games, when stuff started flying around the room. He was startled and did what any Gen Z or Alpha person would do, record the encounter instead of getting the hell out of there. Thanks to his act of bravery, if you can call it that, we got this footage as evidence of his encounter. In the clip, we see something fall and a door moving without someone behind it. The boy filming thinks there's a skinwalker out to get him. Not sure why he would think that, because these are usually the signs of a poltergeist, unless of course his friends are messing with him. Forgive me if I sound skeptical because he's young, but well, you wouldn't believe the things we did to my cousin Jeremy because he was afraid of the Grinch. Oh, good times. Maybe I should call Jeremy.
Guys, I'm home alone right now. Guys, just watch. Something's gonna get thrown in my room. If it does, that means that there's a skinwalker in my house. What in the heck was that? Was that an arm?
Moving on. This is certainly one that will be hard to fake. Do you see those waves moving the water? They're not natural, are they? This comes from Vancouver, Canada, and according to sources, this isn't the first time the waves have moved like this. Residents who live there believe there's something huge moving within the water causing the huge wave. But here's the thing, no one has ever seen it. An individual commented on the original post, and according to him, the phenomenon has been there for generations. The big question now is, what creature is that, and what is it doing in those waters? Well, there are many guesses here, and those are including wild ones like Nessie the Loch Ness Monster. Some in the community were quick to point out that the area has a lot of whales and that the waves could just be whales moving. It does make sense, but for some reason locals are convinced it's gotta be something else. And you've seen the clip, so what do you think? Since I've mentioned Nessie, we got to talk about the big guy, aka Bigfoot. A Bigfoot hunter set up his trail camera at a spot he believed to be an active Bigfoot area, and what he captured left him completely stunned. A large creature emerged from the woods and began pulling a thick tree trunk right out of the ground with no effort at all. Then, as if to prove its strength, it tossed the tree aside like it weighed nothing. Now, this wasn't just some small branch, this was a full-grown tree. Yeah, it didn't really have leaves, but it was still a full-grown tree, which means it was heavy and had some weight to it, and yet this thing flung it around effortlessly. Looking at the footage, it doesn't appear staged. There's no clear sign of machinery or any visible trickery. If this is real, it's some of the most compelling evidence of Bigfoot's strength ever recorded. If it's not, kudos to whoever did his best to fool us. He must, however, be told that we're not amused by this. Not at all. It's not funny. Aaron, however, feels this might be legit. But what about you guys? Do you know anyone with teeth fillings? Do you know if they're using mercury for those fillings or not? If you are wondering why you should care, this man right here is saying that beyond the danger of mercury exposure, those fillings in your teeth could become receivers for radio waves, basically making you an antenna. Before you call him crazy, do some research. There are actually reports of people having strange sensations after the fillings were done. It's almost as though they become aware that things they weren't supposed to be aware of. The big question on the mind of most conspiracy theorists is, does the government know? Is the government secretly using this to enhance and weaponize its citizens? Is this the reason the government isn't serious about pulling bad dental products from the markets? Wild questions, I know, but just think about them. I checked in with Julius on this, and for the first time he couldn't call me crazy. He told me that some people had reported experiencing strange sensations such as hearing buzzing or voices, which they believed were caused by their fillings. He explained that this idea likely stemmed from the fact that metal dental fillings could, in rare cases, act as passive radio receivers under very specific conditions. According to him, if a filling had the right shape and was exposed to a strong radio signal, it could theoretically pick up the signal and vibrate in response, producing a faint sound inside the mouth. However, he emphasized that this phenomenon was extremely rare and not a common occurrence. Rare and not a common occurrence. Well, how would he know? When your kids talk about having imaginary friends, I know it sounds cute, but it's not always cute. Confused? Well, look at this clip. The child was doing what kids do, walking around with her toys. She then starts confronting something or someone, but there's no one there. You might even be tempted to think she's interacting with something out of frame, but no, that's not what's happening. Only a few seconds into the interaction, something starts pulling the items in her hands from her. The problem? There's no one there besides her. But somehow whatever is pulling has a firm grip. She stands her ground, takes her items, and goes in the opposite direction. Her mom just happened to stumble upon this footage one day, and it shook her. She kept wondering what her daughter was actually interacting with and didn't want to believe it was really something from the dark side. Members of the paranormal community were sure it had to be a demonic entity. Some also stated it might be the spirit of a child playing with a daughter. Whatever the case, the mom didn't like it and wanted it gone. Do any of you know how to get rid of something like this? Because I really don't. Sure, we've seen lots of weird stuff on this channel, but we always find an answer to even the most puzzling of captures. Be it from the Encyclopedia of Paranormal Things or from Julius, well, the encyclopedic mind. This clip, however, has got us scratching our heads. It's one of those rare situations where Julius refused to comment, yet, after combing the internet for hours, I found nothing on it. Someone was allegedly out in the woods by a water body when he captured this. He'd never seen it before and wanted answers. All my possible answers turned out to be a dead end. Some in the paranormal community stated it is a mini Nessie. This is the second time we're describing something as one, but look at it. How else would you describe it? If there's an actual creature that looks like this, well, don't roast me, just help me understand this mystery. At some point, scientists and engineers in the tech field need to step back and ask themselves if they're taking robotics too far. Just look at this robot demonstration footage. It's both impressive and unsettling. A man places a large stone on the robot and smashes it with a massive hammer. The stone shatters into pieces, but the robot is unharmed, not even a scratch. Then, in another clip, he hits the robot with a stick, but instead of breaking the machine, the stick itself snaps apart. He even tries using a glass bottle on the robot's head, but it's as if nothing happened. And then the man kicks the robot to the ground, and in a chillingly smooth motion, it gets right back up like it was nothing. It's incredible, sure, but, well, how should we feel about this? We're building near indestructible machines, meanwhile we as humans remain fragile. At what point does innovation cross into something we should be concerned about? Speaking of things to be concerned about, take a good look at this photograph. Does something seem odd to you? No? Well, when you zoom in on the photo, you notice that there's a shadow being or person standing next to the third lady on the extreme right. Do you see it now? I know what some of you might be thinking. Come on, Steve, it's dark. Anyone can look like that. It could also just be the darkness taking form. And normally, I'd say you were right, but how do you explain the second image from the same night of the first image, by the same guests at the same venue? If you pay attention to the second image, you'll notice there's a reflection in the glass. That's definitely not normal. When you enhance the image and take a good look at the face, you realize it's disfigured. I know what you'd say, it could be anyone at the event, and you would be right. Normally, but this is different. We got another picture taken by another tourist in the same location at night, and we see the face again. This time it's a bit more detailed than the previous, but it's still distorted. Once these were uploaded online, the community felt there was something roaming the location, something otherworldly. You've seen the evidence we've gathered on this, so what do you think of the whole thing?
And the thing just starts to move towards you. Until it touches your knee.
Next, we visit Japan, where an interesting innovation has got people worried. The woman recording is in the bathroom. The head you see is a technological innovation that starts singing whenever you sit down and do your business. I'm not sure why such a thing exists, but perhaps it's to help people feel comfortable when releasing loud gases, if you know what I mean. The lady was perplexed by the whole thing, but someone made an interesting observation. What if those eyes are fitted with cameras that record you while you do your business? I mean, it's a wild thought, but it's not the craziest one to have in these times, is it? This is Florida. Yeah, you heard right. Florida. For some weird reason, they're reportedly getting snowstorms near blizzard conditions. This is happening in locations where you wouldn't expect. In fact, the experts are calling it a once-in-a-generation event. The residents are stunned, as many of them don't even have the resources to deal with this because it's not something that you'd expect or have to deal with regularly. Why is this happening? Well, the answer is simple: global warming. At least that's the answer being sold to us. Members of the paranormal community believe this is geoengineered weather at its best, but, well, hey, what the hell do I know, huh? Does anyone live in Florida? Can you confirm this for us? A man driving through the Appalachian Mountains at night noticed something rather odd. He saw something standing by the trees, seemingly staring at him. Naturally, it spooked him. Unnaturally, he got out of his car to confront it. Yeah, he got out of his car. I'm not sure why he would even consider this, but he does. He walks towards the lady and asks what she wants. Apparently, this has been going on for a while, and he was tired. He gets no response, but in the original video, many individuals state that they heard her whisper some words before he left. What do you think he encountered? And do you think she or it cursed him?
What do you want, huh? Come on. What the f*** do you want from me?
I think it's time to go.
Next, we got another clip of someone exploring the woods. It's a trail he's used too, but states that he felt an ominous presence when he passed by the particular spot he filmed at. He couldn't explain it, but there was something that felt just off. Surely enough, when he got there in this particular video, he heard a howl. Now he's convinced it's demonic, but some who saw the clip have stated that it's nothing more than a cougar, especially since they're found in the woods he's exploring. This one's a tad interesting, but what do you also think?
I think it's time to go.
All over the world, there are places with a history of alien encounters. This footage was taken by some researchers who traveled to Peru, a country long associated with mysterious events and ancient alien theories. According to local accounts, there was once an alleged alien crash landing in Peru. While investigating, the researchers came across a group of men who had discovered strange remains of what they believed could be alien relics. One of the most intriguing discoveries was a preserved figure of a woman in red, textured hair, and a younger child. Some believe these could be remnants of an ancient alien species that once lived in the area. Looking at it, I understand why they'd have that sentiment, but that doesn't always translate as truth, right? Anyway, you've seen the clip, so what say you? A group of deep-sea divers were out in the ocean when they captured this incredible footage. As they filmed, a massive creature swam past them with incredible grace and speed. Just look at its size and the way it moves through the water. This is a fin whale, the second largest animal on Earth right after the blue whale. These majestic creatures can grow up to 85 feet, 26 meters long, and weigh as much as 80 tons. Despite their massive size, they're known as the greyhounds of the sea because they can reach speeds of up to 25 miles an hour, making them one of the fastest large whales. Sadly, they were heavily hunted, but fin whales are now protected. However, they still face threats like ship strikes and ocean noise pollution. Seeing one of these giants in the wild is an extremely rare and breathtaking experience.
¡Ah! ¡Ay, Miguel! ¡Miguel! You have it around.
Sometimes people walk the fine line between luck and disaster, and this man had a terrifyingly close call. A group of friends had gone rock fishing, each casting their lines into the water. While most of them stayed up on the rocks, one guy decided to get closer to the shoreline for a better spot. At the same time, a shark had been spotted in the area. As the man glanced out of the water, he suddenly slipped and fell right in, directly where the shark was lurking. Panic set in immediately. In a desperate scramble, he launched his Crocs sandal into the air and climbed out of the water as fast as possible. A close call? More like a miracle escape. This could have gone bad very fast.
¡Ah! ¡Ay, Miguel! ¡Miguel! You have it around.
Throwing a Croc sandal at a shark. Now that's really gonna make a difference, huh?
Someone was out boating when they noticed something unusual in the water. A large caudal fin, likely from a fish or some other creature, suddenly emerged, wiggling in the air before disappearing beneath the surface. They managed to capture the moment on video, but the whole thing is a mystery. What kind of creature did that fin belong to? Because you can barely see any discernible features that may give you a clue. There are some already speculating that it could be a mermaid, but if you take a closer look at the footage, something seems off. The movement feels unnatural, and the way the fin behaves doesn't quite match any known sea creatures. Could this be AI generated? Some tech enthusiasts in the community seem to think so, but I want your opinion on this. What say you? Next, let's dive into the deep and eerie conspiracy theory, the Black-Eyed Club. For years, people have noticed that celebrities, politicians, and some of the world's wealthiest individuals have been seen with a mysterious black eye, as if someone had punched them in one eye. But here's where it gets strange. It's not just a few people, it's a pattern. Some of the most powerful figures, including presidents, popes, and billionaires, have been photographed with this same injury at the peak of their careers. Because of this, they've been linked to what many call the Black-Eye Club. Now, theories about this go deep. Some believe it's tied to secret societies like the Illuminati or Freemasons, and is a ritualistic initiation that symbolizes their entry into the highest levels of power. Of course, no one has officially explained their black eye or admitted the ritual, but the fact that so many influential figures share this strange, unexplained phenomenon has left conspiracy theories convinced that this is no coincidence. The fact that the media hasn't said anything concerning this has many conspiracies' senses tingling. So what do you think? a bizarre coincidence, or something much darker? Not everyone believes in the supernatural, and that's completely fine, but some people live to learn the hard way. This man had been hearing strange noises from his basement for a while. At first, he brushed it off, but one night when he heard the sound again, he finally decided to check it out. He grabbed his camera and went downstairs. As he panned the camera around, his light landed on something. It was a dark figure standing by the wall, completely still. The moment he noticed it, his instincts kicked in. He panicked, turned around, and ran back up the stairs, slamming the door behind him. Up until that night, he had never entertained the idea of the supernatural, but after what he saw, he was convinced. Whatever that thing was, it was not human. So what do you think it was? A TikToker has been sharing a strange encounter she's been having with what she believes to be a mimic. She used to live on her family's farmhouse in the Appalachian Mountains. Though she no longer lives there, she recently returned to retrieve a few items she'd left behind. She went back with her husband, and as they were looking around the house and filming, something chilling happened. As the camera panned around, you see her husband, or at least someone who looked exactly like him, behind her. He was crouched on the ground with his head bent down. But here's the terrifying part. That was not her husband. At the time, her real husband was outside filming the front of the house, so if that wasn't him, then who or what was it? Many believe the Appalachian Mountains are home to strange and unexplainable entities, and mimics are said to be one of them. Creatures that imitate voices, faces, and even entire people to lure unsuspecting victims. Could this be one of them? Someone was taking the elevator when they suddenly heard something unsettling. Cries echoing through the walls. Curious and a little unnerved, they pulled out their camera and started looking for the cracks in the elevator wall. And that's when they saw it. A hand reaching out of the darkness from within the wall, but there was no one there. No sign of a person, just that ghostly hand vanishing back into the shadows and the cries. So what exactly was that? A lost spirit trapped in the building's walls, or something far more unsettling? The nighttime can be eerie and mysterious, and this story is no exception. Hey! Hey! One night after a heavy snowstorm, a man and his dogs decided to venture out for a walk. The snow-covered landscape was serene, but soon their peaceful stroll took a chilling turn. In the middle of their walk, the man started recording after hearing loud vocalizations echoing from all around them. The sounds were unnerving, piercing cries that seemed to come from nowhere. There was no sign of any creature nearby, and it certainly didn't sound like a bear. But then it hit him. Could a pack of wolves be responsible? Could wolves be tailing them? Well, he wasn't sure, but somehow made it out alive to upload. Once this went live, the internet viewers had different, more sinister theories. Some suggested the sounds belonged to hellhounds, mythical creatures often associated with the underworld and bad omens. Others claimed it was La Llorona, the weeping woman from Latin American folklore whose ghostly cries are said to haunt the night. Another chilling theory was that the sounds came from a Wendigo, a malevolent spirit from Native American legend known for its eerie calls and insatiable hunger. You heard them too. What do you think we're dealing with?
Hey! What are you doing over there?
A man was walking by the forest when he spotted something moving among the trees. It was a ghostly humanoid creature appearing like white smoke shaped like a human. The entity walked behind a tree and then just vanished, leaving no trace. It looked ghostly and very unsettling, adding an eerie atmosphere to the already mysterious forest. What could this be?
Hey!
Was it a ghost, a spirit, or just a trick of the light? The man's encounter with this strange apparition raises questions and leaves us wondering about the unexplained phenomena that might be lurking in the woods.
What are you doing over there?
Do you remember the Miami incident where they said there were aliens at the mall? Well, this clip resurfaced online with someone claiming that this is from the Miami incident. In the clip, there are two policemen, one standing and one looking down at whatever that is. Now, the officer is holding a shield that reads, Astronomia Police, Hellenic Police. This is in Greece. It has nothing to do with the Miami alien incident. But then again, if this footage is not edited, what type of creature could that be? Our next clip is what you call a weird and strange one. This clip starts, and we're introduced to this man who puts his hand out, and it starts turning white. Obviously, this isn't normal, but then again, there's not much context to the footage, which leaves us in the realm of speculation. One hypothesis thrown in by the community is the chilling prospect of Raynaud's phenomenon. This is a condition where blood vessels constrict, typically triggered by cold weather. While that might sound intelligent, Googling up the condition will be enough for you to know that this isn't it. Others are tossing around the idea that the man applied a solvent on his hand that affects the skin, leaving it as dry as the Sahara Desert with a little discoloration. Some even state it could be a gas reaction, but even Julius is baffled and doesn't have answers. If our science was as baffled, then I guess I am too. So to the experts out there, does anyone know what might be happening here? Please do share. There have been countless tales of sea monsters throughout history, from hydras to the Loch Ness Monster and even sea serpents. Now take a look at this intriguing footage. Someone captured something moving in the water from afar. It was long and big, with about 3 fin-like structures on its back, each a reasonable distance from the other. Whatever this is, it must be truly enormous. The sight of this mysterious creature has sparked a lot of speculation. Some viewers believe it could be a modern-day sea serpent, an ancient creature from the depths that has eluded discovery. Others think it might be an unidentified marine animal, possibly a new species. What do you think? While venturing to an abandoned house in the woods, someone came across a strange creature standing at the window. It was a terrifying sight. The creature's face was black and white, and its eyes were pure white. It had razor-sharp teeth and emitted haunting sounds as it turned its head looking around. But what could this creature be? Some in the paranormal community think it could be a paranormal entity, while others believe it might just be a person in makeup or a costume. Without more evidence, it's hard to say for certain what the creature is. What do you think? Is this creature a genuine paranormal entity, or could it be someone playing an elaborate trick? What do you see when you watch this clip? For many, it might be a reptile or dinosaur-looking thing, but for those in the Scottish Highlands, this might just be the real-life footage of the Loch Ness Monster. For those unfamiliar with it, the elusive creature, often described as a serpent or dragon-like beast, is said to inhabit the deep, murky waters of Scotland's Loch Ness, the largest freshwater lake in the British Isles. Legends and folklore surrounding the existence of this mysterious creature have been passed down through generations of Scottish culture, with sightings and encounters dating back to ancient times. In fact, the first written account of a sighting of the Loch Ness Monster dates back to the year 565 AD, when a missionary named St. Columba claimed to have seen a water beast in the lake. Since then, countless reports and sightings have been recorded, with witnesses describing the creature as having a long serpentine body, a large head, and often a pair of humps protruding from the water. Reverting to the clip, a number of individuals who saw it stated there was no way it could be real. An example is this comment. The user points out something critical they observed. The creature's front fins don't disturb the water. I didn't notice it before, but after going back to watch the clip, I must say that it does look like a hot knife going through butter. It almost looks unreal. If the concerns of the commentator are to be believed, then this certainly is a reason to believe that the clip might indeed be doctored or simply put a CGI creation. But then again, perhaps my skill in cinematography might be lacking. Has this been the only sighting? Well, not exactly. In April of 1933, a couple reported seeing an enormous creature crossing the road in front of their car near the lock. This sighting sparked widespread media attention, and soon afterward, numerous additional sightings, including eyewitness accounts, photographs, and alleged film footage purported to show the creature, were reported. In the decades that followed, numerous scientific expeditions and investigations were launched to study the phenomenon. Various methods were used, including sonar surveys, underwater photography, and DNA analysis of the loch's waters. While some studies yielded inconclusive results, others suggested that the reported sightings could be attributed to natural phenomena or misidentification of known animals. Despite this, the legend of the Loch Ness Monster continues to captivate the public's imagination, and the mystery surrounding it remains unsolved. Now, what do we have here? A dry, dead fish is brought back to life by a drop of water. What sorcery is this? Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the zombie fish. Not zombie in the way of eating brains, of course, but the ability to spring back to life. This fish is what many call the suckermouth catfish or pleco. These fish are found in ponds and rivers in South America and have an incredible ability to survive in extreme conditions. When their natural habitat dries up, they bury themselves in the mud and go into a state of suspended animation known as aestivation. During this period, they can survive without water or food for several months. Their metabolism slows down to the point where they require very little oxygen, and their body becomes dehydrated, as you can see in this footage. But they don't die. When the rains come and their habitat is reflooded, the fish rehydrate and come back to life. In this case, the fish was responding to the drops of water being poured on it. It might seem like a miraculous resurrection, but it's just their fantastic ability to survive extreme conditions. Summer comes with a lot of heat, so people easily get dehydrated. Because of this, they often go for juicy fruits, especially watermelons. Due to the high demand, some sellers resort to unethical practices. They inject substances called adulterants into the watermelons to make them look redder and riper and last longer on the shelves. However, not everyone does this, so how can you identify the good ones? Here's what you do. First, check for any white dust on the watermelon. This could be a substance used to artificially ripen the fruit. Next, choose watermelons with yellow patches on them. These patches indicate that the fruit ripened naturally on the ground and are likely to be sweeter. Watermelons with webbed markings are also a good choice. These markings are a sign of natural pollination and often result in better tasting fruit. Lastly, when you cut through the watermelon, run a white tissue over the flesh. If the tissue gets stained red, it's a sign of artificial color enhancement. I hope these tips help you pick the best watermelons for the hot summer. Stay hydrated and enjoy your fruit. Now, what are we looking at here? A strange blob-like entity just crawling on the floor. It resembles underdeveloped chicken eggs stuck together and slithering around, creating a very unsettling sight. What could this be? Is it some sort of unknown creature or just a product of CGI trickery? The way it moves is eerily organic, but in this age of advanced special effects, it's hard to determine the authenticity of such footage. Instead of passing judgment on this, perhaps I should leave it to you guys. What do you see? An alien life form, a mutated organism, or simply a well-crafted digital illusion? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. The vast and mysterious ocean is considered one of the largest unexplored territories on Earth and is home to a plethora of conspiracies and creatures that remain unknown to man. One of the most popular and captivating mythical beings that the ocean is said to host is the mermaid. These magical creatures are often depicted with the upper bodies of humans and the lower bodies of fish and have been a part of human folklore for centuries. Puerto Rico, a beautiful coastal area, is no exception to this. It has its collection of mermaid legends and folklore which have been passed down through generations. Known as sirenas in Spanish, these stories may vary across different regions and communities, but the allure of mermaids remains a prominent feature of Puerto Rican folklore. In this footage, a group of people who were out fishing had an extraordinary experience. As they were on the surface, they noticed a blue glow in the water close to their boat. The glow followed them for a while before they noticed the silhouette of a human-like creature in the water. Although this sighting was different from the unusual mermaid sightings, it has left many people convinced it's the real deal. Some even suspect it might be alien. But what do you think? The sky has been a subject of fascination for humans for centuries. Despite the numerous sightings of strange objects in the sky, there are still some more sightings that continue to get viewers in a frenzy. Take a look at this particular one. This peculiar cloud with flashing lights was spotted in North Philadelphia. The unusual mass descended from the sky and vanished behind a house in the vicinity. That's definitely not how clouds are supposed to act, and the sighting quickly gained a lot of attention and even made it to Fox and ABC News. It, however, appears that this was not the first time people had seen this. Many people in the comments section also testified to seeing this strange cloud falling out of the sky at other times within the same area. There were even some from other parts of the world who claimed to have seen it in their regions too. Others had a range of opinions about what this could be. One commenter suggested that this was a drone cloaked as a cloud. Another commenter was convinced that this was a UFO. He even made a subtle argument that the flashing lights were evidence of extraterrestrial activity, and countless others agreed with him. Despite the evidence and buzz around it, a number of individuals in the paranormal community think the whole thing is a hoax meant to throw the community in disarray. You've seen the clip yourself. What do you think?
The most obvious fade trap I have ever seen.
Have you ever heard of fae traps? According to folklore, these are traps set by fairies to lure humans into their realm. These traps can take various forms, often appearing as something innocuous or beautiful. Recently, a girl went out to pick flowers with her sister and came across something extraordinary. Amidst the blooms, she noticed a small white-petaled flower that was rotating like a fan. She immediately identified it as a fae trap. This rotating flower is known as the Claytonia cordifolia. These flowers are indeed beautiful, but what baffles many is how the petals rotate in such a mesmerizing way. Is this a natural phenomenon, or is there something more magical at play? Share your thoughts.
Ever seen.
I'm gonna go touch it.
No, Maria, you're gonna get kidnapped.
Bears are very curious creatures. They'll go anywhere to satisfy their curiosity. One night, a family with a property in the woods got a big surprise when they found a bear inside one of their parked cars. The bear was rummaging through the car, probably looking for food or anything interesting. As soon as it noticed the people around, it bounded out of the car. Now, we don't know if the animal opened the door on its own or if the door was already open, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was the former. Bears are incredibly smart and have been known to figure out how to open car doors, especially when they're motivated by the scent of something tasty. Just imagine the scene. You're settling in for the night, maybe watching TV or getting ready for bed, when you hear some noise outside. You look out and see a bear inside your car, tossing things around like it's on a treasure hunt. It's a mix of shock, fascination, and maybe a bit of amusement. Bears' curiosity often gets them into these kinds of situations. They're always on the lookout for easy food sources, and a car can sometimes hold all sorts of interesting smells and treats. It's a reminder of the importance of keeping vehicles locked and free of food or anything that might attract these intelligent and powerful animals.
Wow, he's big.
You might be wondering what you are looking at, but allow me to explain. This is a supposed patent for a full-body teleportation system. I don't need to explain what this is, right? The document states that this invention is a system that teleports a human being through hyperspace from one location to another using a pulsed gravitational wave traveling through hyperspace. Basically, whoever is responsible for this invention was trying, or perhaps has found a way, to teleport from one place to the other. I went through the document and realized that the patent has been abandoned. Closer scrutiny of the document, you'll realize that the patent was applied for in 2004 by one St. Clair John Q. We did some digging on the individual and realized that he's one person who has applied for many strange patents. It's even scary to mention them since his whole persona is shrouded in mystery. Perhaps in the near future we may do a deep dive on him, but until then, what do you guys think of the patent? This clip has gone viral, and not for the reasons you might imagine. Yes, she's beautiful, if I do say so myself, but that's not the reason she's gone viral. The residence where she thinks that she's not from this earth. She wears this white robe wrapped around her body and walks around barefooted. She walks and moves in this eerily automated manner which is so unhuman-like. The residents of the area follow her around asking her questions, thinking she might be an alien. But is she though? Well, there's a subsect of the internet that doesn't think so. They believe she's just attention-seeking, and the residents have bought into her craft and are giving her what she wants. You see the clip too, don't you? So what do you make of it?
God, look at these big-ass mosquitoes here!
Now let's take a look at another strange footage that was posted online. A man shared what he thought were very huge mosquitoes flying about, but when you look closer, you would notice that these are no mosquitoes. The creatures had what looked like transparent wings, almost glass-like, and their bodies were human-like. They resembled fairies. I don't know what this man was seeing, but those clearly are not mosquitoes. This sighting was truly fascinating. The transparent glass-like wings and human-like bodies are features that set these creatures apart from any known insect species, including mosquitoes. What do you guys think we're dealing with here?
Big-ass mosquito!
People can be very creepy. Take a look at this footage. A group of friends were out at night when they noticed a rather peculiar building. It was a big house with all the lights off except for one room with multiple windows that had the light on. Eerily, in each window stood a pair of legs from the waist down. The legs were not moving and the house had this strange, eerie feel to it. What could be going on there? Is it some sort of haunted house, or is there some ritual happening? The scene looks like something straight out of a horror movie, leaving everyone wondering about the mystery behind those motionless legs and the ominous atmosphere of the house. You've seen it. What do you think? A hunter set up a trail camera in the woods to capture game when he retrieved this device. It revealed something unexpected. In the clip, we see a police officer cautiously walking through the woods holding his gun in a vigilant position. Shortly after he passed the camera lens, a strange beast appeared. The creature had a height of at least 8 or 9 feet with fur all over its body. Naturally, all who saw it believed it was a Bigfoot. The mystery lies in whether the policeman was hunting down the creature or if the creature was stalking the officer on patrol. With limited information on the footage, all we can do is speculate. What are your thoughts on this intriguing scenario? Something rather wild and interesting. This man was walking through the woods while filming when he unknowingly captured footage of a creature walking behind him. The creature was bipedal and had fur all over. It was furry from head to toe. Critically analyzing the footage, it appears the creature was moving from one side of the forest to the other when it was unknowingly captured by the camera. Fortunately for both parties, it wasn't until the man got home that he realized he'd captured something. It's no doubt that this creature fits the typical description of a Bigfoot. I'm not saying this isn't authentic, but believe me when I say there's no way you'd miss a creature of that size if it was just a few meters from you. Even if you somehow do miss it, I doubt it'll miss you, but what do I know, right? Sewer pipes run deep underground, carrying everything from human waste and muddy water to industrial runoff laden with chemicals. It's a toxic cocktail down there. So what happens to any creatures that might live in such an environment like frogs? Do the chemicals affect them? This question became all the more pressing after a recent chilling discovery. A person peering through a sewer opening captured footage of an enormous creature. It was a frog, but it was not frog-sized. No, it was more human-sized and lurking in the darkness. How is this possible? Could it have mutated due to the chemical-laden environment, or are we looking at a new species of frog? While standing on a cliff and gazing down at the ocean below, someone came across a fascinating sight. In the water, a large fish with its gills prominently displayed on both sides of its body was swimming. This fish looked enormous and bore a striking resemblance to a shark. It moved menacingly, almost as if it was waiting for someone to jump into the water. As it turns out, this fish is indeed a shark, specifically a basking shark. The basking shark is the second largest shark species right after the whale shark. Despite its intimidating size and appearance, this giant is not deadly. Basking sharks feed on plankton, constantly swimming with their mouths wide open and their gills stretched wide to trap their tiny prey. Though they pose no direct threat to humans, their rough skin can cause scratches if someone brushes against them. Even with this knowledge, the sight of such a massive shark gliding through the water would likely deter many people from venturing anywhere near it. Would you dare to get close to a basking shark? While one type of light has been explained by experts to be a satellite launch into space, I doubt if that is the same explanation for this. These strange horizontal streaks of light were captured over Mauna Kea, an inactive volcano in Hawaii, on 28th of January 2023. They looked like green lasers coming from the sky onto the Earth. Many who saw it saw a Matrix reference and didn't hesitate to point it out. And there seems to be several people who have made claims of seeing these lights before. However, after much speculation, an explanation was finally given from one of the unlikeliest sources. Experts at the National Astronomical Observatory of Japan, which co-owns the camera, announced on Twitter that the source was a radar device of an orbiting satellite known as ICE-SAT-2, which is owned by NASA. These reports were soon refuted by NAOJ themselves again on the 6th of February. They apologized and said that based on the trajectory, the source of the laser beam was unlikely NASA. This was confirmed by Dr. Martino Antony Jr., a NASA scientist working on ICE-SAT-2 Atlas, and his colleague Dr. Alvaro Ivanov. They did a simulation and suggested that the potential source is the Chinese Daqi-1 AEMS satellite's ACDL instrument, Science Alert reported. Now, there's a lot we can say about this, but I'll leave it to you guys. What do you make of the information I've presented? Is there something fishy going on here, or could it just be information and misunderstanding between some of the top minds in the world? The creature looks like a frog, but with the ability to stand on two legs. Its movements are similar to a bird as it perks up every few seconds. At first glance, anyone would be lost as to what the creature truly is. After a little digging around, and with a lot of help from the comments section of the original post, I discovered that the creature bears a striking resemblance to the mythical Murloc from the Warcraft series. The Murloc is a fictional creature known for its amphibious nature, savage behavior, and primitive society. These creatures have bulbous bodies, large mouths with sharp fangs, and slimy skin. According to Wiki of the creature, they primarily inhabit coastal areas and come in a variety of colors, with some resembling frogs or fish, while others resemble red-eyed tree frogs, as is the case with the creature we are currently observing. In Warcraft lore, Murlocs are hostile creatures that often attack travelers and settlements in large groups. They're known for their distinctive gurgling sounds and are feared by many in the game's universe. Now, how does a fictional game character suddenly come to life in our own? No one really knows, unless, of course, the writer found the creatures, spoke to no one about them, and decided to use them for his own militaristic purposes. Either that or this clip is definitely CGI, but as I always state, until we have enough evidence, nothing can be disproved, despite how ridiculous it looks and sounds. What do you think about the whole thing, though? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Wondering what we are looking at here? Well, scientists have created tiny robots that can move and join individual cells. This amazing technology is called microscale robotics for single-cell manipulation. These tiny robots are incredibly precise and can work at the scale of a single cell, giving us control over how cells behave and interact. They could be used in many exciting ways in medicine and biology, like delivering drugs exactly where they're needed, repairing tissues, or studying how cells act in different situations. Imagine being able to fix damaged tissues, creating new tissues for transplants, or even cure diseases by targeting them at the cellular level. This technology completely changed how we approach medical treatments and scientific research, opening up new possibilities for healthcare. I don't know about you, but this has me fascinated and excited. Someone found this strange creature walking on the ground. It was some sort of insect with what looked like little sticks sticking out from its back. I had never seen this before until I did a little research and found out that this is called a bagworm. Bagworms are fascinating creatures. They're actually the larvae of moths, and they create protective cases around themselves using silken bits of plant material like twigs and leaves, which is why it looked like it had sticks sticking out of its back. These cases or bags provide camouflage and protection as the larvae feed on foliage. What's really interesting about bagworms is their life cycle. These larvae hatch and immediately begin to build their protective bags, which they carry around with them as they move. When they pupate, they do so inside these bags. The adult males emerge as moths, but the females often remain in their bags, where they lay eggs to start the cycle anew. While they might look a bit creepy or unusual at first glance, bagworms are a natural part of many ecosystems. They can, however, become pests if their population grew too large, as they can defoliate trees and shrubs. So next time you see what looks like a walking bundle of sticks, you'll know you're looking at a bagworm. This spectacular event unfolded in Mendoza, Argentina, where a meteor allegedly descended from the skies and crash-landed. When the residents went to check out the site, this is what they found: a smoking rock. When a meteorite impacts the Earth, it can generate intense heat and potentially cause a small explosion upon impact, leading to smoke or dust, as you can see with this one. But one thing that doesn't add up is the absence of a crater. Meteorites typically leave craters when they reach the Earth's surface. The area around this rock clearly looks undisturbed, which makes Julius think it's a fake. Is someone trying to get their 5 minutes of fame, or is there more at play here? Share your thoughts. A man is strolling through the forest, casually filming, when suddenly he spots something that sends him sprinting for his life.
Aujourd'hui. Donc je retourne à la maison.
The creature responsible, not one to be outdone, decides to join in on the chase, leaving the poor man absolutely terrified. Now everything happens so quickly that it's almost like a blur, but when you slow it down, there it is, a pale, almost white creature. It appears to be similar in height or possibly taller than the man. It also has hollow eyes with a mouth wide open. It's got that classic alien vibe. Most alien sightings are peaceful strolls through the woods, but this one, it's got some serious aggression going on. Luckily, the man has some serious sprinting skills. Who knows what would have happened if this extraterrestrial speedster caught up? What's your take on this spine-chilling encounter? Real alien encounter or a well-executed forest fright? Have you heard of Ceres? It's a fascinating little world that's alleged to exist in space. Ceres isn't actually a planet, but a dwarf planet. It's smaller than Mars, about 2/3 its size. You can find it in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Though Ceres was first spotted way back in 1801 by an Italian astronomer named Giuseppe Piazzi, NASA took a closer look in 2015. They sent a spacecraft called Dawn to explore it. Dawn's visit to Ceres was eye-opening. Scientists discovered bright spots on its surface which turned out to be salt deposits. This suggests that Ceres might have, or had, some water beneath its surface. The glowing effect of these bright spots comes from sunlight reflecting off the salty patches. Ceres is about 590 miles wide, making it the biggest object in the asteroid belt and the only dwarf planet in that part of our solar system. You can't see Ceres with the naked eye because it's too small and too far away. It's over 250 million miles from Earth, so it's just a tiny speck in the vastness of space. Even with a telescope, it appears as a faint dot. That has me thinking, what do we know more about what's hiding in plain sight? A helicopter was flying over the ocean when something unusual caught the pilot's eye. Below, in the vast expanse of water, were two parallel streaks moving swiftly. At first glance, it looked like some sort of enormous serpent, but the way these streaks moved, straight and unwavering, didn't match the typical slithering motion of a serpent. Could this be evidence of colossal sea monsters or perhaps something else entirely? According to Julius, our in-house science whiz, the straight-line movement suggests it might not be a living creature but rather some kind of large underwater object or phenomenon. What do you think? If you thought a car on water was amazing, wait till you see this. Imagine a bus that could run on a nuclear reactor. That's exactly what this bus is. But as much as I wouldn't want to burst your bubble, the Cyclops is a fictional vehicle made from the 1976 movie The Big Bus, and that's all there is to it. This remarkable mode of transport was designed to travel across the country without ever needing to stop for fuel. Just think about the possibilities. The Cyclops could have changed the way we travel forever with its revolutionary technology, if it were real. A nuclear-powered bus would have been a game-changer in the transportation industry, offering a cleaner and more efficient way to travel. Unfortunately, the Cyclops only exists in the world of fiction. Nevertheless, it's fascinating to think about what could have been if this incredible vehicle was made reality. Perhaps someday, someone will create a real-life Cyclops that can revolutionize the way we travel. Still on strange water sightings, we've got another one, but this time in the waters of Mexico. This spectacle was captured by a couple who were walking on a boardwalk by the shores of Veracruz. What makes this incident more peculiar is that residents reported that they wasn't just the first time this had happened, making it even more intriguing. It's highly unusual if this is a natural disaster, as it is not naturally possible for such an event to occur. A whirlpool appearing and disappearing at will Could we be looking at some sort of portal or some sort of scientific experiment going on in broad daylight? It's possible that this couple happened to be at the location at the exact same time when the entity responsible for this passage opened it. It looks like a scene from a sci-fi movie. This next clip is one you're going to have to help me with. What do you think is going on here? I watched this over and over and over again, trying to decipher and discern what could be going on here. But try as I may, I just couldn't. I had to put my ego and pride aside to ask Julius, our science whiz. It only took a few seconds, but after analyzing the clip, he stated that the dogs had been tied by the waist. Why? Well, it's hard to say. With what? That's also something we can't determine from the clip, but that's our working hypothesis. What do you guys think? We've got a group of men who are operating a mysterious machine with rotating parts submerged in murky waters. The exact purpose of the machine is unclear. Perhaps it's for catching fish or some other task, but what happened next was truly startling. Out of nowhere, an alligator suddenly lunged out of the water and latched onto the machine with its powerful jaws. The sheer speed and aggression of the attack took everyone by surprise. The alligator's grip was fierce, but fortunately it lost its hold and fell back into the water. Just look at how fast and aggressive that alligator was. It leapt up with such ferocity, reminding us of the raw power these creatures possess. It was definitely a close call for the men. Human beings are known for their insatiable curiosity, and although there is a popular saying that goes, "Curiosity killed the cat," it seems that people often fail to abide by this cautionary advice. In this particular instance, there is video footage that showcases this curiosity, where a man enters a glass structure in the snow to explore. If the video is here, then you know that it didn't go so well. Shortly after, a polar bear approaches the structure to inspect it. The bear is not merely observing, but also clawing and attempting to bite through the glass to get to the man inside. However, to everyone's surprise, the man appears to be unfazed by the bear's behavior and continues to remain inside the glass structure. One comment that caught my attention read, "Lunchbox isn't opening." My favorite comment at the end of the day is this particular one. I mean, what if? In this next clip, a bird farmer is seen entering the enclosure of her birds to check up on and possibly feed them. As she steps inside, all the birds start running around, chirping and flapping their wings. Suddenly, something strange happens. All the birds freeze in place as if time has stopped. The only bird that remains unfazed is the one in the middle, who continues to peck at the food in front of it. Just look at that, all frozen in time. But could this be a glitch in the Matrix, or what do you think? Let's see what people had to say about it. There was one common explanation between people, and that is, this is a normal thing among birds to be frozen in time when they sense danger. According to experts, when birds sense a threat, they go into a state of shock, also known as tonic immobility. This response is a survival mechanism that helps them avoid being detected by predators who are less likely to attack prey that appears to be dead. In the case of the bird farmer, it's possible that the sudden appearance of their owner caused the birds to react this way. However, it's also possible that they were reacting to something else entirely, such as a loud noise, a sudden movement, or even a predator. We can't, however, state with certainty what it is without any more evidence. Some archaeologists recently unearthed something truly intriguing, a mummified head of what appears to be an alien-looking creature. This head is elongated and has an almost otherworldly appearance, as if it was severed from its body. For years, there have been countless stories and theories about the existence of aliens. While details about this discovery are still scarce, it raises a tantalizing question. Could this be the proof of alien life we've all been waiting for? This discovery could potentially revolutionize our understanding of extraterrestrial life. Is it a relic from a long-forgotten civilization that had contact with beings from another world, or perhaps a genetic anomaly from an ancient human? Julius isn't sure about this one and wants to look into it. That's a first because he normally just tosses these out. Fingers crossed, let's see what he makes out of this. Now, speaking of serpents, what are we looking at here? Imagine a snake, but not just any snake, a peculiar one with white hair standing straight up on its head. It's almost as though it were a character from the Trolls cartoon. This unusual sight leaves us with so many questions. What kind of snake could this be? Is this some sort of bizarre mutation, or has this snake found a way to visit a salon? In reality, some snakes can indeed have strange and unique features due to genetic anomalies or environmental factors. However, this particular snake looks so outlandish that it seems like it's straight out of a fantasy world. There's a possibility that someone planted the hair on its head, a great possibility at that. But then again, could this be a rare species we've never seen before, or one that nature has decided to give a quirky makeover to? Well, let me hear your thoughts. Take a look at this chilling footage from a security camera that reveals a perplexing and hazardous situation. In the video, an enigmatic smoky substance begins to blanket the road, covering the area in an eerie haze. After a while, a car nonchalantly pulls onto the road. Within moments, chaos erupts as the entire area is engulfed in flames. Now, what seems like harmless smoke or fog earlier turns out to be a gas leak. It looks like a tiny spark from the car or somewhere nearby decided to play with fire, literally. Gas leaks are often odorless and invisible and can pose a significant threat when undetected. The sequence of events captured in this video emphasizes the need for vigilance and prompt action in the face of potential hazards. Just a quick reminder before the next clip comes, if you still haven't liked, commented, or subscribed, could you do so right now? You wouldn't want me to send a Bigfoot after you now, would you? In this next footage, we have this lone cloud hovering above a vicinity, and guess what? It doesn't exhibit your typical cloud behavior. No, but this one's doing something strange. It's rotating in the sky and not at the leisurely pace of your regular clouds.
Te hubieras ido por ahí para que lo tomáramos mejor. Para que viéramos exactamente qué es.
With all the UFO chatter buzzing around, some are convinced this isn't just a cloud putting on a show and that it might actually be a UFO in disguise. I'm all for the alien encounter stories, but what do you make of it? A group of friends decided to take a nighttime swim, eager for a refreshing adventure under the moonlit sky, because nothing could go wrong. Their excitement, however, quickly turned to dread as they approached the water's edge. There, illuminated by the faint light of the moon, was a bizarre creature. It had a smooth, small head perched on a long neck and a fish-like tail that flicked ominously in the water. The sight was so unsettling that the friends froze, their night of fun abruptly turning into a scene from a horror movie. When they shared their experience, opinions were sharply divided. Some viewers shrugged it off, insisting it was nothing more than a seal common in those waters. However, others speculated wildly and were convinced that the friends had encountered a genuine sea monster, a creature of legend and mystery lurking beneath the waves. What do you think it was? During an eclipse, some observers captured a truly bizarre scene in the sky. A flaming orb was flying through the sky, and atop this orb stood a dark, humanoid figure. I've seen a lot of strange things, but this one is truly otherworldly. What could this flaming orb be, and who or what could the figure standing on it be? This sighting raises numerous intriguing questions. The flaming orb could potentially be explained by natural phenomenon such as a rare atmospheric condition or a meteor. Sometimes natural events can take on unexpected appearances, especially when viewed through the unique lighting conditions of an eclipse. However, the presence of a dark humanoid figure standing atop the orb complicates this explanation. Personally speaking, I don't know what to make of it. Can you? Next, we have this strange clip. I don't know if you guys can see, but there's a strange-looking entity floating around. It looks like the jelly-like UFO that has been appearing in the skies lately. And get this, there have been multiple sightings of these jelly-like beings in different places. According to the reports, they just descend from the sky and float around in the dark. The big question is, what on earth could these things be? Are they all connected, or are we dealing with some next-level otherworldly entities just casually chilling in the night sky? Or could it be? Could it actually be that they're mapping our planet? You know what, I'm gonna stop here before I actually figure this out and get abducted. And before we move on to the next clip, what's your take on these mysterious jelly-like night floaters? Tsubame, a Japanese startup, has rolled out a manned robot named Archax, which is designed to accommodate one person.
ことができます。で、基本的に26の関節がありまして、コックピットの中から操縦することが可能。
The hefty device weighs in at 3.5 tons and can reach a maximum speed of 10 kilometers per hour. Inside, there are screens and controllers for the pilot to navigate the robot. The creators believe that these devices have endless applications in disaster relief and the aerospace industry, envisioning Archax as a versatile tool in these fields. With a price tag of $3 million and plans to produce at least 5 of these robots, we can agree that it's a bold step into the future of manned robotics. What's your take on this high-tech creation? Do you think Archax could revolutionize disaster response in aerospace tasks, or is it a bit too futuristic for its own good? Graveyards are typically undisturbed places where the dead are laid to rest in peace. However, someone shared this disturbing footage showing a graveyard with numerous graves that have holes in them, as if someone had intentionally dug them up. To make it even more unsettling, these holes were filled with water. Such sights in a graveyard can be quite disturbing and are often seen as unholy or disrespectful. The question arises, who could have done this? Gravediggers, perhaps, or is there another explanation? One commenter suggested that this footage was taken at a Louisiana graveyard after Hurricane Katrina. Considering the devastation caused by Hurricane Katrina, this explanation seems plausible. The severe flooding and high water levels from the hurricane could have caused significant disruption to the graves, leading to the appearance of water-filled holes. The question now is this true, or is that a cover-up for something rather ominous happening elsewhere? Imagine you were out there taking a stroll when all of a sudden you see this guy from a distance. What would be the first thing in your mind? Well, for me, I'd seen snake, but in my thoughts, of course. The last thing I or anyone should want is to startle a snake in the midst of greens when it can easily manipulate its way around, hiding in the foliage and possibly attack. The one recording handled himself quite well, which allowed him to record and take a good picture, a video of the creature. Looking at it again, it appears to have more features than you would associate with a snake. When I look at this, what comes to mind are the Chinese depictions of dragons. Do you think this creature could be ancient or have something to do with those ancient and powerful beings? Or do you think this is a hoax and someone is trying to get their 5 minutes of fame? Whatever your thoughts are, please share them in the comments section. A man came home one day to find one of these orbs inside his house. It was glowing and emitted a low buzzing sound, almost as if it was electrical. The orb floated around the room, but he did well to keep his distance. He didn't dare get as close as it drifted through his home. In another case, a different homeowner captured footage of a glowing orb at his doorstep. It hovered outside for a short while before zipping away into the woods at lightning speed. All around the world, people report seeing mysterious glowing orbs. These spheres have baffled witnesses for years, with some speculating they're balls of lightning, while others are convinced they're linked to extraterrestrial activity. These encounters raise so many questions. Are these orbs truly real? If they are they just rare forms of lightning, or could they be something more, perhaps some kind of alien technology or entity? Have answers? Well, share them with us in the comments section if you would. And while you wrestle with the authenticity of that clip, this next one doesn't make things easier. Take a look. Yes, sirree, that's not connected to any gas outlet, yet somehow there's a fire which has confused even the individual holding it. When I saw this, I felt there must be a little gas left in the tube, but even if that's the case, well, shouldn't it have run out or the strength of the flame decreased a little at least? Well, Julius couldn't believe me and refused to comment on this, so I'm on my own. Or am I? Can you guys share your thoughts? Do you think this is truly a supernatural feat, or is there some logical explanation behind this? This man was prying open a huge rock and discovered something strange inside. There were these spiral shapes on both ends of the broken pieces. When I checked the comments, several people mentioned that this could be fossilized ammonite. Ammonites are ancient marine creatures that lived millions of years ago, and their spiral shells have been preserved in rocks. Finding one of these fossils is like holding a piece of prehistoric history in your hands. What do you think of this find? Wouldn't it be amazing to come across something so ancient and mysterious? A homeowner set up a camera in their washroom one night, and when they retrieved the footage, they found something incredible. An alligator, or at least a reptilian creature close to it, standing on the closed toilet seat. Now, I don't know where this person lives or the situation of their house, but how in the world does a creature like that get into their house and into the washroom? It's pretty wild when you think about it. Some skeptics are suggesting that this might be CGI, and honestly, in this age of digital manipulation, that's a fair consideration. But let's entertain the possibility that it's real for a moment. Alligators are known to turn up in unexpected places, especially in areas where they are common, like the southern United States. They can be surprisingly adept at getting into tight spots. They might come up through plumbing if they find their way into the sewer system, although that's pretty rare and more of an urban legend. But if we set aside the CGI theory, there are a few ways an alligator might end up in a bathroom. One possibility is that it entered the house through an open door or window and made its way to the washroom. Another more adventurous idea is that it might have been someone's unusual pet that got loose. In this next clip, we have a compilation of security footage captured at a military base in Lima, Peru. These eerie ghostly figures were spotted moving all over the base. Just take a look at that. The way these figures glide across the screen is unnerving, almost as if they're not bound by the same physical rules we are. But what could they be? Are they ghosts, remnants of some past event haunting the grounds, or could they be something else entirely? Cloaked alien creatures perhaps hiding in plain sight? What do you think these figures might be? Ghosts, aliens, or something else altogether? This man is walking down a hallway when out of nowhere a dark, shadowy figure rushes into him, knocking him hard against the wall. He stumbles backwards, clearly caught off guard, but the unsettling part is what happens next. The shadow appears to grab him, dragging him across the floor and around the corner of the hallway. The man struggles with the shadowy figure, desperately trying to break free. For a moment, it looks like he might not escape, but after a tense struggle, he finally manages to free himself. Without wasting a second, he bolts out of there, leaving us to wonder, what was that thing? Was it something paranormal or an illusion? What do you think? Could this be a case of a malevolent spirit or something else entirely? Now let's dive into this next piece of footage. It looks similar to the first, but on a much larger scale. This video was retrieved from the security camera of a classified institution. Don't look at me like that. That's all the information we received. The footage shows a bizarre creature casually walking through a sliding door and then crawling away. That's if I'm allowed to describe its movement like that. Have you ever seen Stranger Things, especially the scene where people and rats come together to form a strange blob-like entity? Well, that's exactly what this reminds me of. I'm not sure if this is indeed some sort of giant creature prowling in the night, or if it's just another well-crafted hoax. The sheer size and the way it moves are unsettling to say the least. Julius believes it's a CGI creation, whilst Aaron thinks it's possibly real. I've chosen to stay on the fence on this because I'm not ready to be dragged into a debate, but what do you guys think? A subscriber sent us some truly intriguing footage. While exploring the woods, they stumbled upon a bizarre sight nestled among the trees. A triangular-shaped structure with a silhouette of something sitting inside. The footage is pretty shaky, making it hard to make out the details. The dim light filtering through the canopy adds an eerie atmosphere, amplifying the sense of mystery. Despite the unclear visuals, the center is convinced that what they captured was none other than Bigfoot sitting calmly within this strange structure. The structure looks like a makeshift shelter built by an intelligent being, perhaps even Bigfoot itself, or it could be that the silhouette is a trick of the light or a more mundane animal like a bear. Who knows? But share your thoughts on what you think this could be. Did you know that bumblebees have incredibly strong wings? These tiny powerhouses can generate around 20 milliwatts of power while flapping their wings at an astonishing rate of about 200 times per second. This incredible wing strength not only allows them to hover and dart through the air, but also gives them the ability to carry loads nearly as heavy as their own body weight. Bumblebees use this strength to transport nectar, pollen, or even small objects if needed. Their efficient flight mechanics and muscle power make them one of nature's most remarkable pollinators. Years ago, a piece of footage aired on a TV station in Milwaukee, and to this day, it remains one of the most intriguing mysteries we have ever captured.
Are those fireworks? What is that?
Look like some fireworks or something.
Aliens? I don't know.
What the heck
What
is
that? You see it, right?
I'm actually, yes,
Okay.
I do see it.
Okay.
The video shows a beautiful cityscape at night with a dark sky. However, there are clusters of small lights moving about in the sky. They weren't stationary, they floated and shifted almost as if they were following some kind of pattern or purpose. No one could figure out what these lights were. They were officially ruled out as fireworks, so that theory was off the table, leaving most people to believe that this is evidence of extraterrestrial activity. What do you think?
Are those fireworks? What is that?
They look like some fireworks or something.
Aliens? I don't know.
What the heck
What
is
is that? You see it, right?
I'm actually, yes,
Okay.
I do see it.
Okay.
A farmer recently shared intriguing footage online claiming to have captured something unusual on his property. In the video, a small creature can be seen walking on two legs with humanoid features but an oddly shaped oversized hat. The farmer believes the creature is a duende, a mythical creature known in various cultures, often depicted as a small mischievous being. However, not everyone is convinced. Julius, for instance, argues that this footage could simply be a product of AI manipulation or digital trickery. Given the rise in AI-generated content, it's becoming harder to differentiate between what's real and what's artificial. So what do you think? Could this be a real duende sighting, or is it another case of digital coaxing? This video was captured in Brighton, Ontario back in 2023. A woman noticed something incredibly strange in the sky. There appeared to be two moons. One of them was bright and unmistakable, likely the actual moon. However, further ahead in the sky, there was another round, glowing sphere that looked eerily similar. The second orb was much dimmer, but its shape and positioning made it stand out. What could this mysterious second object be? Could it be a reflection, a celestial event, or something entirely different? Aaron's money is on it being an alien craft, but then again, it's purely speculation. What say you? Stepping away from this sci-fi stuff, let's go back to Aaron's favorite things, skinwalkers. A group of friends were out there exploring till they came to the point you see in the clip. Once there, they decided to, go deeper. Their adventure was, however, cut short by these strange and horrifying screams. They didn't know what was making the sound, prompting them to record. After a few seconds of recording, they left the place because the sounds got closer and became more horrifying. They uploaded the clip once they were safe, asking if anyone knew what it was. Many in the paranormal community mentioned it had to be a skinwalker, whereas others thought it was too convenient. They felt the group had faked everything for their 5 minutes of fame. You've seen the clip. What do you also think? Did they fake it, or is that the real deal? Let's take a look at this haunting footage shared by a couple.
Are you giving Daddy his tools?
In the video, the husband is busy fixing the sink, completely focused on the task at hand, while their adorable toddler, a little girl, comes in view. The wife, standing behind the camera, is filming the moment, but here's where it gets unsettling. The little girl picks up a screwdriver and holds it above her head as if she's about to stab her father. The husband, oblivious to her actions, casually pops his head out from under the sink to take the tool from her, smiling as if nothing unusual just happened. This footage left many viewers alarmed. They couldn't help but notice how her gesture looked eerily deliberate, sparking debates online about whether this was innocent child's play or something darker. Personally, I think it's just a little girl mimicking what she's seen without understanding the implications. Kids can be unpredictable and curious after all. But what do you think? Was it just innocent play, or does this moment give you the chills?
Are you giving Daddy his tools?
Kids are often believed to possess some sort of sixth sense, allowing them to perceive things that most adults cannot. This footage seems to offer a glimpse into that mysterious ability. In the video, a family is sitting under a shed, relaxing. At one end of the shed, a man is drilling into a tank. Meanwhile, a shirtless little boy, seemingly out of nowhere, suddenly bolts across the shelter, yelling at the adults to get out of there. Moments later, the unthinkable happens. The tank explodes, startling everyone. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but the timing was so eerie. After the incident, the family was left in shock, wondering how the boy knew something was wrong and had the instinct to warn everybody. Could he have sensed danger or seen something the adults couldn't? Two men had taken shelter one stormy night as the rain began to pour down, accompanied by the distant rumble of thunder. You can hear the storm building and the wind howling through the darkness. Suddenly, in a split second, something absolutely terrifying happened. Lightning split the sky, and for a brief moment, something appeared after the lightning bolt. Look at that. Let's watch it again, this time in slow motion. There it is, a horned creature with wings outstretched. You could make out the faint outline of its muscular body as if the lightning had illuminated it, making it glow in the night. And then, just as quickly as it appeared, it vanished into the storm. Well, after firing something out of its hands. What could this have been? Was it some kind of demon? And if it was, why was it carrying out an attack? Did the people annoy it or something? So many questions, yet no one to ask them. This footage captures a mysterious light illuminating the night sky. It's a bright, pulsating mass with an intense glow that almost resembles flames, but it's clearly not fire. Suspended in the darkness, it pulses rhythmically, its fiery appearance seeming almost alive. The glowing object hangs eerily in the air. Its strange, almost hypnotic behavior have sparked a flurry of speculation, with some suggesting it could be an unexplained atmospheric phenomenon, while others lean toward theories of extraterrestrial activity. What do you think it is? Isn't necessarily the fact that it was recorded in Spain or that the clouds are red, but the fact that there's another recording just like it coming from the US around the same time. Nobody has any logical explanation for the clouds, and there's been a general censorship on everything related to this. At least, that's what our source says. So before I ask you guys what you think we may be dealing with, do we have people in the USA and Spain who can confirm if they experienced this or something similar? Doing so will greatly help us out. This footage from Bengal, India is quite intense. The residents gathered in a room drawn by a strange animalistic growl, only to find that it's coming from a man who seems to be possessed. The aggression, the growling, and the eerie atmosphere all make this situation feel very unsettling. What's intriguing here is the divide between those who believe it's a supernatural possession and those who might think it's a psychological issue. Possession stories have been told across cultures for centuries, but modern science often attributes these behaviors to mental health conditions. However, there are cases where the behavior goes beyond what seems explainable, making it hard to dismiss the possibility of something more. In this footage, the man's growls and aggression certainly don't seem normal. His behavior is beyond what you'd expect from someone just lashing out or being disturbed. It feels primal. But at the same time, it's important to acknowledge that mental illness can manifest in unpredictable ways. The dilemma here is that when a situation blurs the line between science and the supernatural, it becomes hard to know for sure. So, what could it be here? There are a lot of strange incidents that have made it to our category of glitches in the Matrix. These incidents are typically too weird to explain, and this next clip is no different.
Yep, okay. If I go down that way, that brings me down. So, I'm walking up. But when I round the corner... nothing.
This woman had parked her car in an underground parking lot. After finishing her errands, she returned to get a car only to find something truly unsettling. Her car was on the other side of a wall. Now the weird part, there was no other cars around, no apparent way for her car to have moved, and no clear path to have even reached it. The wall seemed to have barricaded her car, as if it had appeared out of nowhere. She tried walking around, but no matter how hard she looked, there was no space or entrance leading to a car. How did her car get there? Was it some sort of optical illusion, a malfunction in reality, or a glitch in the Matrix? Sounds crazy, but it's hard to explain how something like this could even happen. Was the wall always there, or did it just appear while she was gone? Julius thinks she's probably just lost, but Aaron believes she may be onto something. What say you?
Yep, okay. If I go down that way, that brings me down. So, I'm walking up. But when I round the corner... nothing.
Shiny, right? When I first saw this, I thought it was some sort of sword, but after a few seconds in, I realized it's actually alive. I assumed the light was coming off the fish, which would have been super cool. It took watching it a few more times to realize that there was a flashlight involved. Putting the flashlight on the fish made it look like there was light coming from it. But pay attention to the man's clothes. See it? Yep. Does that mean the fish isn't special? No, not all fishes shimmer and reflect light the way this one does. It's just beautiful. Does anyone know what fish it is, though? Julius wouldn't tell. This footage was shared by a passenger on a plane. We don't know the exact location at the time, but what this person captured in the sky is enough to leave anyone stunned. The passenger spotted something unusual through the plane window. It was a mysterious craft. Though the camera moves a bit, you can clearly see the object hovering in the sky. What makes this even more intriguing is the shape of the craft. It's smooth and elongated. There are no wings, no visible engines, just this sleek tic-tac shaped object floating effortlessly. UFO enthusiasts have long claimed sightings of crafts like these, often referring to them as advanced unidentified aerial phenomena. Is this another example of extraterrestrial technology? What do you think? A man was out fishing at Sali Lake, nestled by the Navajo Mountains, when he captured something extraordinary. From a distance, there was a large hairy creature. You can clearly make out the domed head and broad shoulders. According to the man, this was no ordinary animal. He insists it was a Bigfoot, and he saw it moving through the landscape. The creature's size and distinct movements left little doubt in his mind. I mean, the area isn't known to have any primates, so there's no way to fault his claim. Naturally, the online community can't seem to come to a unanimous decision concerning its authenticity. A large majority, however, believe it's the real deal, but what say you? The Tesla empire is undeniably a major force in advanced human technology, particularly in the realm of electric vehicles and renewable energy. Their innovations are impressive, from cutting-edge autopilot systems to sustainable energy solutions. However, with such rapid progress, there are bound to be issues that arise, and Tesla has had its fair share of complaints. Recently, while in traffic, someone captured footage of a blue Tesla car with a bloated back end. It's unclear what caused this, but incidents like this do raise questions about the reliability and durability of Tesla vehicles. People are left wondering if the benefits of owning such an advanced machine outweigh the potential risks. How many of us here own or would love to own a Tesla? What do you make of these videos? Do you consider them a cause for concern, or do you think people are just exaggerating to make new technology look bad? Kindly share your thoughts in the comments section.
I never heard a noise like that before. The hell would that be?
A hiker was exploring the dense Washington forest when he started hearing strange and unsettling sounds. They were deep, drawn-out howls echoing from somewhere deep within the woods. The sound was dark and haunting, making the entire experience feel eerie and unnatural. While some dismissed it as just a wolf or another animal native to the area, Aaron insists there's something off about these howls, something that doesn't feel like it belongs to any ordinary creature. Could it be a werewolf, a dogman, or perhaps some kind of cryptid lurking in the forest?
I never heard a noise like that before. The hell would that be?
A man on a ferry right in the middle of the sea captured something truly strange on camera.
And then all of a sudden, bam! What is that? Anybody tell me what that is? We're in the middle of the ocean.
Look at this. A fleet of glowing orbs hovering in the sky. They don't seem to move much, just floating there silently above the water. Could this be the infamous sea UFOs we've been hearing so much about? Are they convening for some mysterious purpose? A meeting of sorts, perhaps? Whatever it is, let's just hope it's not to overthrow mankind. What do you think these orbs could be? Let us know in the comments section.
Look, nothing in the sky at all. And then all of a sudden, Bam! What is that? Anybody tell me what that is? We're in the middle of the ocean.
The ocean truly is one of the most mysterious places on Earth, covering vast territories that remain unexplored. There have been countless stories and legends of giant sea creatures lurking in the deep, with many yet to be discovered or confirmed by science. Recently, some fishermen made headlines when they reportedly reeled in a giant creature. From the footage, it appears to resemble a massive snake with a fishtail, an odd and eerie combination. While the ocean holds many secrets, this footage looks more like a fabrication. The creature's appearance is strange, almost too bizarre to be believed. Julius screamed fake, and I wanted to chastise him for this, but not without having evidence. When I started scrutinizing the clip, I noticed something I hadn't noticed before. There's something funny going on with the hands of the one closest to the camera. No, I'm not calling it fake, but these things typically happen to clips created or edited with the AI, so what do you think? Real or fake? A group of hunters ventured deep into the woods on a mission to capture evidence of a yowie, a creature often described as Australians' version of a Bigfoot. They were prepared with infrared cameras and set up camp, waiting through the night. While the cameras went off a few times, alerting them to movement, the hunters never actually saw the creature with their own eyes. However, when they reviewed the images the next day, they found something chilling. In one of the photos, there was a massive creature standing right by them in the dark. Somehow, it had managed to get close without any of the hunters noticing. The infrared camera had captured what their senses had missed. What do you make of this? Could this be real evidence of the elusive yowie, or is there another explanation?
I'm walking. Look. This plane isn't moving. It's not moving. But it sounds like it's moving.
A woman was out and about when she noticed something strange in the sky, a plane. But here's the eerie part. It wasn't moving, it was just stuck there, frozen midair. This phenomenon isn't entirely new in the paranormal community. Many refer to it as a glitch, suggesting it could be evidence of a simulated reality. Others theorize it might be an optical illusion or some sort of natural atmospheric phenomenon. What do you think?
I'm walking. Look. This plane isn't moving. It's not moving. But it sounds like it's moving.
Next, we got a clip from someone who believes they captured a fairy on camera. Take a look. They claim to have seen the creature at the window, and as they got closer, this is what they found. A tiny, naked, humanoid figure with wings, and just as they approached, it immediately flew off. At first glance, it looks like a fairy, but something about it feels off. I don't know, I just can't place my finger on it. Could this be genuine proof of these mystical beings, or does it seem a little bit too perfect, almost edited? And with that, we end today's episode. Thank you for staying with us. Before you go, with our clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have.
Share this video with someone you love, and I'll see you in the next one.